you, Elaine. I have a theme song. I don't know if anybody knows who Yolanda Adams is. But if you can just hear a little of that theme song, I play it every time I'm about to speak. And it addresses my soul and what I've gone through this some 40 years of my life. I'm answering my call today, y'all. I'm answering. Thank y'all for letting me keep the dream alive. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up. Again, thank y'all for coming, and that is my theme song that I've been listening to for some 20 years. But it inspires me to never give up. And first of all, I do want to thank Elena for giving me the opportunity to speak at Wibbler's closing reception. Thank you, Elena. She's not here. Thank you. But here it is, my it. My it, doesn't matter how many years I've been speaking, my it of self-doubt and rejection is here. Wouldn't think that. I've had to battle this all of my life. So the only difference today is that I have learned some things, or I've discovered some things about myself as to what I need to do to address my it, self-doubt, and rejection. And that is to share my poetry and a little bit of my life. But if there's anything I say that resonates with you, I thank you. I can remember, and my sisters can too, I used to love dancing. And dancing brought me so much joy. And it helped build my self-esteem and self-confidence. Because when I would see how the audiences would get so much enjoyment, and they were my audience, they would clap for me, it helped boost my self-esteem. Dancing. Probably I was dancing before I even attended elementary. And then I attended elementary. And as I'm there, we would have a guest speaker. And I would say to myself at about 5 or 6 years old that one day, I am going to be a guest speaker on the program. Now, I was about 5 or 6 years old. Now, so I've been dancing since I was before 5, and I've been saying, I had this vision of becoming a speaker. And so what did I do? I went home at 5 or 6 years old, and I made my homemade mic. And I would start speaking to my imaginary audiences, initially in my bedroom mirror. And then I said, I need more lighting. So then I graduated to the bathroom and I locked the door. And I would be in there speaking with my homemade mic to my imaginary audiences. And my sisters would be knocking on the door. Gladys Mae, what are you doing in there? Oh, nothing. I was talking to my audiences when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up till I turned 18 years old. And then something special happened. I graduated from high school and I attended Lee College. And as I was registering for class, I met a man named Mr. Dan Mendoza during registration. And believe it or not, I have the gift for gab. He and I were talking. And he said to me, or he suggested as I reflect, that if you would register for speech class, you can get a scholarship. I go, yay, yay, yay. But what I didn't hear was the second part, but you got to compete in a speech competition. I didn't hear that part. So I went through first semester taking my speech classes and, being coached by Mr. Dan Mendoza. Fall semester ended. Here comes spring. And guess what? Here comes that speech competition. And I couldn't believe it. Because, see, you would think I would be ready, right? I've been practicing since I was 5 or 6 years old in the mirror with my imaginary audiences. But I was in hiding. I was in secrecy. I was shocked. I go, I'm going to have to speak to a live person. And I've been dancing since I was 5. But dancing was okay, but I needed to speak. And the only person I never spoken to was myself in my mirror to my imaginary audiences. Well, Mr. Danman, I probably practiced the speech maybe once or twice on my index card. Mr. Dan Mendoza was coaching me. I'm ready. Loads up the van. We go to what was then called Southwest Texas State University. Now it is called Texas State University. We get to the communications building. We look at on side of the door, and I see what room I need to go to and the time I'm supposed to speak. And here it is. It's my time. I walk in the room with my index card and started reading my speech. And I thought, okay, I've been practicing. Well, I didn't even place, y'all. I've been speaking to the mirror since I was 5 or 6, and here I'm 18 years old, and I didn't even place. But in my opinion, I won. The judge called me over very nicely and said, if you had confidence in yourself, you could become a great speaker. Now, what that judge did for me, she watered the seed that I envisioned since I was 5 or 6 years old. But here I am, 18, and what am I going to do? I have been dancing since I've been speaking in my mirror, but what am I going to do now that I know it? How I wish I did not know it. I've always been told that Gladys Mae, you don't need to know everything, and oh, how I wish I did not know it. To know it is to feel pain and assume responsibility for my it. To know it is to have it consume your every thought and even every movement of your body. To know it is to know it forever. I now know I lack self-confidence. I now know I have self-doubt. I now know I have a fear of expressing myself in public because of rejection. So what am I going to do? Well, I kept on dancing. And what dancing did, I called it gave me P to the third power. Perseverance, being actively patient, doing something while you're working and waiting, gave me peace. It's called my P to the third power. And what I did, it allowed me to keep dancing until I came out in a different way. With walking, it started out as a simple walk. It took me from block to block, from thought to thought. I came out. The self I had finally lost was coming out. The joy that comes from hearing the birds sing and feeling the wind against my face and seeing the trees sway back and forth. With each step of my feet, the joy that comes from the sight and sounds of nature had more importance to me. The self in me was coming out. As I felt the rhythm of my footsteps, beating in a consciousness that I was unaware of, but now I know I have this it. I was thinking and feeling about the joy about life and how me, Gladys Mae Bullock, an ordinary girl with a vision, could walk to enjoy it. You see, I came out. I could no longer stop challenging myself with new ideas and experiences. You see, if I had known that walking was going to be the step, was going to be the thing that helped me develop self-confidence, I would have doubted it, and guess what? I would have stopped. But I didn't know that walking was the thing. Listening to the muse, and if it offends somebody, of God directing my steps. I had no idea what walking was doing for me. But as I began to walk from block to block, walking on trails, walking led me to Alaska doing a marathon. Walking led me to Canada doing another marathon. All my confidence was up. Walking led me to volunteering as a Girl Scout leader. Walking led me with starting my own businesses. And I couldn't believe I had all this confidence, and I thought I was good, but I wasn't, because there was something in me that still wanted to become a speaker. A speaker. Could you imagine? I've done some things. Well, I said, well, what am I going to do? Now at 18, I know my it is self-doubt and rejection and no confidence. Walking has allowed me, dancing has allowed me to persevere, finding walking. But then one day, and I mean, it was like 9 years later, I'm talking about persevering. It was 9 years later when that judge told me that if I had self-confidence, I could become a great speaker. It was 9 years later. And then I asked the question, Gladys Mae, is there anything else that you can do besides dance that you feel good about, that you feel like you can, and you have an art? Is there anything else? On that day, in February of 1997, I wrote Step. And on that day, I took a step for me. I was afraid, but still, my mind was changing. I took a step for me. Step by step, self-discipline and self-confidence began to develop step by step by step. Now these steps, they were not easy. I kept walking and doing great things. I have to always visit what I call my odd places. My odd places is being here with Wivler, around people who believe in themselves and believe in me. My odd places is when I'm swimming in the pool or I'm hiking a mountain. My odd places is sometimes been in the quietness of my home. My odd places is sometimes been around my family. And one of those odd places, one of my family members who's here, she came to visit me in Austin, Texas. And as I said, I was walking and I was writing. I was walking and writing poetry. But I have a horrible penmanship. Now I'm going to tell you the twist about how the judge started watering the seed for me to become a speaker. But my sister Sandra Davis watered the seed for me to become a writer, for me to become a poet. And what she did, I was walking and writing, and she came to visit me. And I'm scared because it's something, I'm used to dancing and I'm going to express my ideas. She said, let me see what you're doing, Gladys Mae. And she read some of the poems. My handwriting is horrible. And she said, you're saying something. And she shook that head because she's an older sister. I say, I am? She said, yes. She says, let me type them up for you and you'll see it. And she typed them up. And when she brought them back to me, I go, I wrote this. That tell you how much self-doubt. That tell you how my self-confidence wasn't there. So Mr. Mendoza offered me a scholarship and kind of forced me to go to compete. My sister saying, let me read them, and saying, let me type up. I could see that if I'm going to become a speaker, I need to write something to talk about. My odd places, you might find love in a trash can eating the fat off of the bone. You might find love in the trash can as you're eating the fat and the other person is sucking the meat off of that bone. You might find love in a trash can because you were there where things of little value are thrown. Coincidentally, two souls in need of satisfying their hunger have also found love, have also found acceptance. What is your odd place? I've told you some of mine. If you don't have an odd place that you visit every day, get one. It doesn't have to be my place, but it's got to be your place that rejuvenates you, that builds your self-esteem. Because when I go to my odd places, and I go every day, it helps me continue to participate in life so that I will not sit by idly and watch a runner run. I will not sit by idly and watch another day dawn. I will not sit by idly and feel my muscles ache. I will not sit by idly and see the wrinkles form. I will not sit by idly and allow my life to idly go away. So when you go to your odd place, like today, you're rejuvenating me. I'm keeping participating. And when I'm participating, you know what? I reach out. I reach out by sharing my poetry. I reach out by sharing one of my experiences. And when I reach out, I realize that there are other people like me. I reach out and realize that it is possible to accept this crazy woman, me, for me. And when I can reach out for myself, I can reach out and pull you up and realize that everybody has an opportunity to find out what their it is and be free. Now, reaching out keeps me hopeful. Because I may be bruised, and I may be rotten, but please, because I've been on this journey some years, don't throw me away yet. No, I'm not that little 5-year-old girl. No, I'm not 18 years old. No, I'm not 20, 30, but there's still something good in my flesh. There's still a value to me. I said, have your hope and realize that your flesh, that goodness in you is still yet to be met. And when you have that strength, you can continue to knock down like my walls, my self-doubt and rejection. When I have hope, I can knock down those walls that say I cannot, walls that say I should not, and walls, believe me, y'all, that I have built. Brick by brick, self-doubt, that's mine, is replaced with self-confidence. Walls that now I think with, walls that now I receive comfort from. You see, in walls that I am now the architect of. And what I'm saying, the architect of, what am I going to do with my self-doubt and my rejection? Every day, I make a choice, every day, to get up and go exercise. Every day, I make a choice to let that pain go and focus on the goals that are hidden deep inside of my soul. Pain, let it go. All the wrongs that have been done against you, pain, let it go. All the losses, and I've had many losses at this age, they want to keep my life on hold. Pain, let it go. But focus on the goals that is hidden deep inside of your soul, that your best self can give and help somebody become their best self. I hope I'm sharing something today that you can let some pain go, get some hope in you, reach out and pull somebody else, keep participating in life, because if you can do that, you can keep walking in faith. You see, I didn't know when I started walking at 27 that walking was doing a magical work in me. I didn't know that because I would have stopped. But I keep walking in faith. Twice I had to leave and didn't know if you were going to have a good night. Twice I had to say goodbye, not knowing if you would have a good night's sleep. Twice I had to see those tears in your eyes. And when I say twice, I mean over and over again, having to have faith that I'm being led to be what I'm supposed to be, a speaker, encouraging and pulling somebody up. When I have that faith, I had to do something as God was leading me to cut out just simply dancing. God was cutting out me just simply speaking to the mirror and to my imaginary audiences. God said, cut it out. Cut it out, Gladys Mae. It's time to come public and come clean. Well, I'm coming clean today. You stood at the door and watched me laboring to live. Moved me left and moved me right as I was quiet very quietly leaving earth's sight. No words were spoken, no praying bent knee. We all knew the end was near. Surprise? The dirt of your presence was felt. There was not even weeping. You were at my left side. You were at my bedside, but not by my graveside. Well, am I justified to judge your ills? Am I able to recognize and then accept my own ill too? Well, let me tell you, I've just talked to you. I've stood at damaged doors. I stood at the damaged doors of self-doubt. I stood at the damaged doors of rejecting myself. I stood at the damaged doors of no confidence, wishing and wanting to be upon again. But he knew that pruning, cutting, shaping will get me through my hard seasons. The cutting and reshaping of my finances. The cutting and reshaping of my possessions. The cutting and the cutting and the cutting of my relationships were not enough to get me through my disconnected emotional drought of rejection and loneliness. I did not want to. I needed to be replanted in fertilized soil. Here I am, Baytown. Here I am, Lee College. Here I am, family and friends, replanted in fertilized soil. But not even that eases the pain of the wounds. The wounds. Some of my own self-inflicted wounds of self-doubt. The wounds, me rejecting my own thoughts, the wounds were so deep. Oh, but God, by his grace and by his mercy, humility and understanding bloom. Thank you. I want to say thank y'all for allowing this ordinary girl to unleash that vision that's been trapped in me since I was 5 years old. I want to say thank you for allowing me to become a speaker on the program today. Thank you.